Hey guys, today we are going to be taking a tour of our brand new homeschool room. You might know that my husband and I built our house, and one of my dreams for our new house was a homeschool room. Now, for many, many years, I've homeschooled without a homeschool room, and I actually have a full tour of how I made it work at our kitchen table for many, many years. So I'm gonna drop that link below. It's called a homeschool tour in a small space or something like that. But today I'm gonna show you how we set up our homeschool room in our new house. And the room is right here. I started the video here because I wanted you to see that it's right off of the main area of our house. I knew that I needed the homeschool room to be close to the kitchen, the living room, and have access to the outside. So I just wanted to show you where it kind of is in the floor plan. It's right off by the front door and close to the kitchen, the living room, like that. So I'm just gonna take you in and show you everything that we have and how I organize it in our brand new room. Take you around the room. First of all, this room is only about a 12 by 12, and so I had to make my space work. One of the things that we did when we designed it is I really needed a big set of built-ins for all the storage. I also wanted a closet in the room so that we could have really closed storage for a lot of you'll see what's in here, but it's the stuff that's not as pretty and maybe not stuff I need to access every single day or all day long. The stuff I really need to access is in this area. And then of course, I put things up here that are useful, but also beautiful. And so I'm just gonna show you how I mapped everything out in this room. We have this school table right in the middle. It has 6 seats. Believe it or not, I got this table for $5 on Facebook Marketplace. I really just wanted a small rectangle so that I have 4 children and I could also sit at one and we can spread out just a little bit, but I couldn't have a huge table because the room's not super big. So it's been really perfect. I also like that the chairs are a little bit higher so that I don't feel uncomfortable sitting for a while there. So when you first walk in the room here on your left, I have a cork board. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and I'm sure that I'll put various things on this over the years, but currently I'm using it as kind of a landing place for when we're in the middle of a project. We do a lot of notebooking in our homeschool, which is basically documenting what they're learning through art and through writing. And so while we're in the process of notebooking pages, I've been putting them up here so we can easily access them, and also for somewhat of a display. And then anything else we need for display right now, we have our letter formation charts, cursive and print. And then this is a phonics reading chart that we're using for my first grader. I got this little piece on Marketplace as well. I just needed a tiny bit more storage and something I could put some things on top. In here, I have 2 bins, one for my 9-year-old and one for my 11-year-old, and they clearly have not organized them recently, but inside of each one, they are to keep their pencil box with their name on it so that it has everything that they need if they wanted to take their school out of this room. It also has their headphones, their computer charger, their laptops, and it has their grammar and the current book that they're reading from Mom's library, which I will show you in a second, and anything else that they need for their independent studies. So when I say it's time for your independent work, they can just come in here, grab their lightweight basket, and bring it outside or bring it anywhere they need and complete their work and then put it back in here. I do like having a cardboard magazine holder in here just to help keep some of their books from getting tore up and thrown in there. They have to put them back in here before they put their basket away. So here I store our chore charts. Each morning when the kids do their chores in afternoon, evening, they just come in here. And then for those chore charts, I also have a magic eraser to help get the marks off and their dry erase markers. So I just keep that there. This is a Bluetooth speaker because we play a lot of music. I also just think it's really pretty. It's from Hearth and Hand, so I have that here. And just so you know, all of these things that I'm talking about, we will have links down below so that you can shop all the things that you're seeing in my schoolroom, unless they're from an antique store like my Liberty Bell. This will not have a link. I got this at an antique store when we were studying about the Liberty Bell, and the kids just love it. And believe it or not, I actually do ring it when I need the kids to come for school. They think it's funny, they like it. So then right over here, I got this board at Hobby Lobby, like in the wood signs area, and it's just a blank wooden sign that I painted the same green as the green in our schoolroom. And then I put a strip of Velcro down the center, the scratchy side, and then on the back of each of my cards that share our rhythm for the day, I have the soft side. And so these are our daily rhythm cards that are in the Treehouse Schoolhouse shop. And I love that I'm able to move them around. Or I'll even have the kids take ownership and move them around. Like, which order do you want to do our lessons in today? Or, oh, look, it says we're going to play outside, but it's raining, so let's trade that with play inside. And those kinds of things really help the visual schedule for transitions, especially for younger children. So I have our schedule of like what we did today that's here, but then right in this cabinet, I have a basket that has the rest of the cards. So there are all kinds of cards in there for different subjects for homeschooling, but then also just daily activities. They have exercise and screen time and bedtime and all the things. So I just keep this right here. Down here, I just have a trash can and a step stool. We have some really high cabinets, and I also have some really little people. My dad built this step stool, so we don't have a link to it, but it's just a simple wooden step stool that they can easily move around with the handle. So now I'm gonna just take into the cabinets. So we'll start up here. I have 3 shelves here, and I have them labeled just with my label maker of what's on each shelf, just to help me when I'm putting things away. I'm actually not a naturally very organized person, so I have to set up a lot of systems for myself. And I also have to clean my schoolroom pretty often because things get really chaotic. So to be fair and to be completely honest, I completely cleaned my schoolroom before this tour. It's not always this orderly. But I'm just going to show you what each one is. So down here, I have early reading. This is anything for my preschooler and my first grader that is for phonics. So I have Explode the Code, which is our favorite phonics workbooks. These are the next ones that they'll be using. Dash into Reading, and again, all of this will be linked below. This is the curriculum for it, and these are all the readers for the curriculum. I also have the Wonder of Nature early years flashcards in here. And so I have cursive and print. Truly the cursive one should not be in early reading because that's for older, but these are the ones that I actually use for my preschooler and my first grader. So I have the uppercase and the lowercase in here. So we'll use these for all kinds of matching games and things like that. And then I have down here, I have a movable alphabet. And so this is really, really helpful when we're doing letter matching or we're doing spelling practice, or I might say pull out all of the vowels, or, you know, there's so many different ways that you can use a movable alphabet, preschool, kindergarten, and first grade. And so we just have this right here so I can grab it easily. I also have some early learning flashcards and a word family set. These are, I believe, from Lakeshore Learning. And so these go through all the different phonics, so that we mostly use these for active phonics games. When they're running around the house, they have to find them and they have to make words, things like that. And then the last thing in my early reading section is, this is from Handwriting Without Tears. And these are wooden blocks that are in the shapes that you make letters. So I'll just show you one. So for the letter I, this part, they work on building them and maybe circling them. They're laminated, and then on the back they build the letter with the wooden blocks. And so these are things that I might pull out for a lesson, but more often than not, I just offer them to my preschooler for her to work on her letters while I'm working with the other children. Okay, the next section up here, I have some morning menu sheets. So if you're not familiar with a morning menu, it's basically a restaurant menu cover, and I put various sheets inside of them for the children to use dry erase markers on top. So this one's featuring our Wonder of Nature number collection, but we also have our morning time menu sheets. We have, so a morning time menu looks like this, the morning time bundle. We have our Wonder of Nature letter collection, our alphabet collection, so it would be letters like this. So any sheets like that that I may trade out, I have in this binder. And then I have our sheets right there. I also have a couple of dry erase boards right here that I might just pull out to do a quick lesson on or something. And then again, my daily rhythm cards, and I have a couple dictionaries right here, my favorite dictionaries that I can just quickly grab for the older kids to look up something or to learn how to spell something. Up here I have what I call Mom's Library. And Mom's Library is basically a set of books that I choose, and I keep about this many at a time here. Each of my older children, ages 9 and 11, they need to be reading one of the books from Mom's Library at all times. When they finish one, they pick a new one. They think it's really exciting because I'm always switching them out. And these are the books that I get off of, classic literature book lists, all sorts of book lists. I have a blog post with my favorite book lists that I reference. But I just pull books together here that they might not choose on their own, or I just want them to be interested in, and they read them during our school time, and they practice typing narrations from the books in Mom's Library. And then over here I have Bible. Each of my older children have a Bible in a Bible case. My older son is practicing journaling with Bible, and so he has a journal. And then each of my older children, ages 6, 9, and 11, have a notebook. And this is where any notebooking pages that they would be creating through Bible, like through our Bible curriculum Rooted or any other Bible study, if they would be creating a notebook page, it would be kept in these binders. So you're going to see, and then here is Rooted, the curriculum. So our Bible curriculum, currently part of it's right here and the other part's out at our kitchen table because we're currently going through this Bible study. And so you're going to see this often in my schoolroom. I basically have a binder for each subject for each older child who's practicing notebooking in our homeschooling this year. So this is the first time you'll see this, but you'll see it in the other cabinet as well. At the top here, I'm actually going to stand on my stool to show you. I do not get up here very often, but it's basically curriculum that I'm not using right now that I actually may just need for reference, or I might need to pull down for a holiday. So right now I have a Treehouse nature study right here. So if we're not currently using it or we're not going through that season right now, it would be here. I have an extra planner. I have Wonder of Nature, extra sheets, all of my holiday studies, and then extra daily rhythm things. And some of this is for my own use, and sometimes it's extra from Treehouse Schoolhouse so that I can take photos of it or use it for videos. So it's just a great place to have extra storage. These are cardboard, but they're really sturdy. I got them on Amazon, and then again, just using my label maker to label each one. So admittedly, my husband built these cabinets, and I just think they're so beautiful, and he gave me so much amazing storage that I'm currently not even using it all, and that is such a blessing, because for 7 or 8 years I was homeschooling around my kitchen table with very little storage. So I feel completely different in this house, and I feel like a fresh breath of air being able to use this room. But just saying that because this drawer actually has nothing in it yet. And I know I will fill all of this space right now. I see it as a huge blessing that I don't even have enough stuff to fill my drawers and cabinets. This cabinet down here has, this caddy is for Mail Monday. And Mail Monday is a practice that we use in our homeschool. We pull this out on Monday. I labeled it Mail Monday, but it has each of the older children have an address book. It has pens, special pens, the wax seal kit, and the wax seal little colored wax. This is a bag of stationery, and then they each have a Ziploc bag filled with letters that they have received. And so each Monday we pull this out, put it on the middle of the table, and all of the kids practice pen paling as part of their language arts lesson for the day. This basket is Huck's library. Huck is my first grader, and he's just learning to read. And so each day he pulls a book from Huck's library to read to me, and we put it on his reading chart, which I will show you. It's on the other side of the room. So I just keep this here and labeled it to make him feel special, but I just put the current readers in there that he is able to read. And then I will switch them out with more difficult ones as he grows. And then down here, each of my younger children have their own bin, and inside of their bin is their own pencil box and anything that they're currently using for school. If I say, grab your bin, let's go on the back porch and do our schoolwork, they can grab theirs. Now, my 4-year-old is not doing formal education, but of course she wants her own bin as well. And so we may have some coloring sheets or some write and wipe. Oh, I did get her a little handwriting book just so she can feel included and she can have her own bin as well. Okay, this center section is what I call the mama area. So this is all of my lesson planning or office supplies, things that I need to prepare for lessons or things I might need in the middle of lessons. So in this top drawer, it's not super organized, but I have my laptop and my chargers. I also have the book that I'm currently using for work. I'm writing the book club lessons for my side of the mountain, so I have that there. I have a calculator and Post-its and a magic eraser, some scissors, a catch-all, and erasers and clips for clipping up the artwork, and push pins for my corkboard, staples, a pencil sharpener, just things like that, some timers. So this is all just like the mama junk drawer kind of. And then down here I have lesson prep materials or other supplies that I might need to grab really quick. I have a paper cutter and a 3-hole punch. I have some clipboards. Sometimes we'll grab our schoolwork and do school on the porch, so just I can grab clipboards really quick. I also have my binoculars for nature study. I have these are dividers for binders. I have laminating sheets, and I have sheet protectors for binders in here as well. And then this drawer at the bottom just has these bins in it that I'm slowly kind of organizing. So I just have like extra glue and craft supplies, jars, and my label maker stuff. So just so that you know, we also have some storage space at the top of our stairs in our home library. We have some cabinets there, and so inside of that we have big bins that have more things like our craft materials that we might not need often, but I might grab from there and put them down in one of these bins if we need them for the next couple of weeks. So I don't keep all of the craft supplies in my entire house in this room. I try to keep the things in this room that I'm using regularly or I need pretty soon. Okay, so this cabinet I have labeled by subject, as you'll see. We'll start at the top. I have science and nature study. So this is anything that we're currently using for science and nature study. If it's a science curriculum that we used last year or we might use next year, it would be stored out of this room. But this is currently what we're using. So we're using Treehouse Nature Study Autumn. So that's here. These are my kids' notebooks for their notebooking pages. My older kids are the ones using these. So they have those here, and then any of the books that we're using in the next few weeks are stored here, and my teacher's guides. History, same thing. Any of the books that we're going to need in the next few months or a while, their history notebooks, their geography notebooks. And just to give you a peek inside of one of these, it has sheet protectors, and when we make a notebooking page, I just let it dry and then I stick it in here. And then they do their artwork and their writing in there. So this is one of my children's since the beginning of this school year. So after we complete notebooking pages, I just organize them by subject and child. And then down here, I have a pencil sharpener, one of the most used things in our homeschool room. And then this paper sorter has multiple types of paper for different ages, the different lined paper, cardstock, watercolor paper, and regular printer paper. Sometimes the kids need it for drawing, so it's up here for them to reach. Right here, this is kind of funny, but my 4-year-old insisted on having her own coloring book drawer. So she colors a lot during our homeschool lessons, so she just has her coloring stuff that she can grab the stool and get what book she wants and get her basket to set up at the table. I will probably end up taking this drawer over, but for now I'm letting her have it. And then down here we have our printer and our printer paper. So it pulls out on a slide, and I use this printer so much. We've had it for many, many, many years and really, really love it for color and black. And I'll link that below as well. And so then all of our paper that we need, different types of paper, are on that shelf. Okay, so now this section, I have our globe that I can pull from. This jar has the two most used utensils in our school day, which are just pencils and thin Sharpies. And so I keep that there so I can put it in the middle of the table for all the kids to use. This basket is my mama basket for what I need. So I like keeping these things in a basket so that I can take it right next to my chair. Or if we do school outside or in the living room, I can just pick it up and take it with me. And what I keep in this basket is anything that I need to reference throughout the day. I don't want to be searching for it in all of the cabinets. So the most important part in my basket is my homeschool planner. So it's usually flipped to the week that we're on and left open. And then I have my first grader's curriculum book because it's something I need to reference every day when I'm doing lessons with him. I'm currently reading an Aesop fable every day to my first grader and my preschooler, and so I just have that book in there. For history, I have the teacher's guide that I'm using. We're using Beautiful Feet Books, Early American History, Intermediate, and then the current book that we're reading. And then we're doing Treehouse Book Club, and so I have my lessons for that in this binder. And usually I keep the book that we're reading in this pocket. I have it out of the room right now, but that's how I store the book, so it's all in one place. And then some worksheets that I need for my first grader are organized by week in this binder, so I just can grab this basket and go. And then I have a teacher's manual for my older kids' grammar, because sometimes I need to reference that. So basically, it's the teacher box. It's the teacher basket of anything that I need to lead the lessons. On this next shelf, I just have some books that look pretty on the shelf that we do reference and use. So I have Nature Anatomy, Food Anatomy, and Ocean Anatomy right here. We use these often for nature study, the primary years. And then I have Smithsonian Natural History, which is a great reference book for nature study as well. We love looking at the pictures and using them as we're doing drawings and things like that. And a couple other storybooks that I might grab at morning time for my younger children. A very common question we get is, where did I get this clock? And I'm pretty sure I got it at TJ Maxx or Marshall, so I don't have a link for it. But I do love having a clock in my schoolroom. I often want to keep my phone out of the room, and I like to reference and see how we're doing on time for the day. This is a cute little mushroom candle holder that I'll put on the middle of the table sometimes. This art print was actually painted by one of my followers, and sent it to me, and I just love it. It's so inspiring. I am holding Treehouse Nature Study Spring. I got this letter board from Treasures by Jennifer, or Treasures from Jennifer. I'll link it below. And it's, right now we're just sort of using it as decor, but my kids in the past when they were younger have enjoyed using it to trace with their finger or to push Play-Doh in it and make letters, things like that. I have this piece of pottery with some wet paintbrushes because we just painted this morning. And I usually just keep that up there to fill with water for painting. This is our notebooking basket, and these stencils are one of our most used things in our homeschool room. When we are making a notebook page, the kids will use the stencil to write lines. My younger children will skip a line, so they have wider lines, and my older children will use every line, and this is how they write straight on their papers, and then we erase the pencil lines. I have some sketching pencils here, and I have our paintbrushes there, and then I also have some rulers for more straight lines if they need them. So when we notebook, often I put this in the middle of our table for us to all share. And then I have paint palettes here. Often we get the question, where did I get these? I actually got these paints from Five Below, but I have a similar one linked in my Amazon cart. They're really great. We use them a lot for notebooking for watercolor wash. And then this is all watercolor paper that's 8.5 by 11 so that we can use it in our notebooks. So every time we do notebooking, I pull the paper from here for that. Here at the top, I just have some books that I'm currently referencing or books that I've been reading recently for my own pleasure, for reference for homeschooling. In this bin, I have all of the chapter books that we're going to be reading this year for Treehouse Book Club. And so I can just pull them down when I am using them for work, when I am writing our studies, or when I need them for our homeschooling. Right here I have our colored pencils, and they are organized by color. Believe it or not, my 4-year-old loves to organize, so she helps me keep this in check. But I actually love thrifting baskets for school organization. So I think this is supposed to be like a silverware organizer, and this was like for napkins and silverware at a picnic. So keep your eye out for those if you like to go thrifting. So we just keep our colored pencils that I pull down often for notebooking right here. Everything else on the shelf right now is just for decor. So I have baskets and plants and a few pieces that I got thrifting or antiquing. And this cute little snail I got at Hobby Lobby because I love nature. Okay, so this closet is organized in a way that my children can reach what they need. So at the bottom, I have things that my 4-year-old can reach during our homeschooling lessons, during our read alouds. She's usually in the room and she just wants to be at the table with us. So I've strategically put things here that I would be fine with her reaching and using. So over here, I have a bin of little things to build. So these are stackers and brain flakes. In an ideal world, all of these would be labeled, but I haven't gotten there yet. This one is pattern blocks. And underneath all of these blocks are the sheets for her to build different pictures on. So she can just grab a bin and put it right next to her at the table. And she knows to just do one thing at a time, and it really helps keep her little hands busy. This is a puzzle, a magnetic fishing puzzle. So some of the pieces have dropped down in the bin. That's why I like to keep it at a bin, because these can get lost. We have counting bears. So she likes to sort them by color or count them or make patterns. Okay, and this is plus plus, which actually all of my children really like to use. They're little interlocking pieces, and they like to put them flat on the table or build things up high, and they're a really great small quiet toy that they can use during our read alouds. So anything on this shelf is something that I will allow them to grab and use while I'm reading aloud or doing a lesson. Next, we have Water Wow, and when my daughter especially wants to use this, we don't like the little pens that come with them. They run out of water, it's very irritating, so I just give her a little cup of water and a paintbrush from my notebooking area, and she will sit and pull these out one at a time and paint with the water. Next is this little file folder that my nanny made for her, so it's just like a little paper dress-up doll that she currently likes. So I do like to rotate the things that are on this shelf just to keep her interest. So this is a more recent thing that we put down here. I have a foam alphabet puzzle she can do on the table, a word writing letter puzzle. So sometimes I'll pull this out too for my first grader who's learning to read, but she just likes to build that. An addition matchup puzzle, and a magnetic board where they move the cars into the proper spots. So anything here, again, is just that she can grab and use anytime she wants during lessons. And then this is her busy book. So it has all kinds of different things that she can Velcro and play with inside of a little soft book. At the bottom here, I just have some trays that we pull out when we use things like Play-Doh or clay or sand. I have a stack of trays and some additional baskets or bins that I'm not currently using. In this middle section, the kids ask if they can use these, but sometimes they also do use these when I'm reading aloud on one of the trays. We have polymer clay and wax sticks. I have kinetic sand and 2 bins of Play-Doh and Play-Doh tools. And then over here, each kid has their own sketchbook. And so they can grab their sketchbook and some colored pencils or pencils, and they can draw during read aloud. Currently on this shelf, we have a bin that my nanny uses in the afternoon. She grabs this to take it out of the room and do any kind of projects or school that she wants to do with the little kids. And then on the sides, we have some foam puzzles that are different areas of the world. So I rotate things out, and currently this is something the kids are really into. They're doing these foam geography puzzles while I'm reading. So I have one of Europe, I have one of the world, and I have one of the United States. At the top here, we have all kinds of handcrafts that the kids are currently working through. So we have like a crochet kit, we have some lap books that we're creating for our read aloud, some drawing and coloring books. And so it's just any projects or crafts that they're currently doing with me or with our afternoon nanny. They're kept up here for us to grab and pull out and put on the table. So that's everything in this closet. Okay, we are almost around the room, but I did want to show you this door. This goes out to our side porch and out to the yard. And so on a really nice day, I can just open the door and have the fresh air in, or if we need to transition, we can everybody outside for a few minutes. So I really, really love having our homeschool room right next to the outside. On this wall, I have this really cute felt alphabet banner from House of Jurg, and we don't use it for any educational purposes at this point. It's just so cute. And then this board, my husband just put 2 little eye hooks, and I hung some string between them. And this is where we put notebooking pages that are drying or that we're also in the middle of. So it's kind of 2 spaces in the room that I have that going. Also, when we start Treehouse Nature Study next week, I will put our display pages here, or if we're doing Rooted, we could put our display pages there, like scripture, poetry, pieces of art that we're studying. So it's either for the children's work or something that we need to reference. This has been one of our biggest investments in our homeschool room that I am so glad we did. It's a Samsung Frame TV, and we use it almost every single day in school, either for a watercolor tutorial or a short documentary or some music, anything like that we can pull up, and just from a remote, we can get to YouTube, Spotify, and then when we're not using it, we put various art up there it's in line with what we're studying. So if we're studying bugs, we could put this one up. So I'm always just switching out the artwork for what we're learning. Over here, I have this shelf that my husband built that we keep books in that we're currently using for school. So we're studying Cherokees. We're also studying the Titanic because we're going to the Titanic Museum next weekend. So I have those there. And then in history, we're studying the Vikings, and I needed an overflow basket of books. And so I have those down here on the floor. I have another one of these in storage, and when we find it, it's going to go here because we need more books in here. So that's what those are for. I might pull them out on the table for a general reading time or use them during a read aloud or something like that. The last thing I wanted to show you in our homeschool room is this reading chart that me and my 6-year-old made. And I know I could have found a perfect one online somewhere and got it printed, but it was really fun to make it with him and for him to have ownership. So I asked him what prize he would want, and I gave him a few options of a quality time prize, and he chose an ice cream date with me. And so we created this little board game situation, and every time he reads me a book from Huck's library that I showed you, we fill in one of these spaces and color it in, and when we get to the end, we will go on our ice cream date. So I just have that hanging here in the corner alongside my Wind in the Willows picture that I found when I was antiquing and fell in love with, and just had to put it somewhere in our schoolroom. I hope that you enjoyed that tour of our new homeschool room, and I just wanted to remind you that you do not need a homeschool room to have a beautiful and efficient homeschool. I have homeschooled in an RV and at a kitchen table in really small spaces, and you can homeschool anywhere. Often we do. We take our schoolwork outside of these doors and have a beautiful education at the kitchen table or outside. And so it's really just mostly a place to store everything, and I wanted to give you that inspiration. If you're looking for more inspiration on homeschool spaces and storage ideas, check out the last video I posted from my last house, and I'll link that below.